There is one thing about lead generation that I haven't seen anyone talk about, which allowed me to make 21.7k with my own hybrid agency and continuously get messages like, oh my god, this is the best outreach I ever got. Oh my god, how can I work with you? Even in the worst conditions possible, when the market just really doesn't want to work with you. And so in today's video, I want to discuss this one thing about lead generation and give you the free lead generation systems that we are using in our own business. So even if you're a complete beginner, you can walk away from this video having the secret and free lead generation systems that can get you your first booked call today. This is a quick note for those people who have been following my account for a while now. Now that I'm scaling my hybrid agency to 100k per month, it's taking more of my time. So I won't be able to make high productive videos on this channel. Rather, I will dedicate this channel to having in-depth short lessons which I am learning on the journey about cold outreach, from sales and these sorts of things. So let's get into it. The big problem with lead generation is that everyone wants to have it easy. And what I mean by that is everyone is just trying to search for the existing tools, the existing softwares that will get you the leads on autopilot. And why this is a big bottleneck or a big problem is that everyone has to contact the same leads. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. You could be contacting roofers, you could be contacting solar companies, or you could be contacting coaches like I do. But if you're using those lead generation systems that has been used by a bunch of people already, you shouldn't really expect a lot. And that's why the secret with closing clients on cold outreach starts with understanding this concept about lead generation. This concept is called the hardness scale. Now, this sounds funny, I know. But the harder it is to get a qualified lead for yourself based on how you generate the lead and how you qualify them, the more calls you're going to book, the more deals you're going to close. Because if you have a system that everyone else is using, the leads you're fighting for has been contacted 10,000 times already. So if you watch my other video about cold email psychology, you know that if your body copy is something that they have already seen, they're immediately going to categorize you and you're never going to get a chance to enter their conscious mind. So they're never going to think about your offer. They just immediately reject and go back to the status quo, which is I'm not doing anything. This may sound a bit complicated, but you can watch my other video about it. But if you build yourself a lead generation system that allows you to get the specific leads that you're looking for, you're going to get much better results because you have your own way of generating these leads. And what that means is that no one else must likely have these leads, and you have your own qualification of these leads, meaning having those conditions which decide about a lead, whether they are good or bad. The likeliness of that lead already being contacted with a similar offer as yours is almost 0%. And that's why the hardness scale decides how many book calls you will be able to get from those leads, from the same amount of leads. It doesn't matter if you have 100 leads here, which are all from Apollo, and if you have 100 leads here, that you have your own specific way of generating them, your own specific way of qualifying them. The hardness scale will decide how many book calls you will get from this one and how many book calls you get from this one. And the perfect example to prove my point is from a mastermind from Charlie Morgan. There is this guy who said that they close a client from every 20 emails. So just for a second, think about that. What kind of lead generation system they must have and what kind of qualification system they must have, and of course what kind of outreach system they must have in order for them to send 20 emails and close a client. That doesn't come from having leads from Apollo or from Clay or from any kind of random lead list that you can buy. That comes from building your own system. So that's all about lead generation. Now I want to talk about what I have built for myself. Of course, I am not going to leak it because otherwise it's not going to work for me. But I will talk about lead generation as what we are using so you get some inspiration to build your own. So let's start with the first lead generation system that we used that hit my first 10k month. And that was SimilarTube, and that's all. We used SimilarTube to generate the leads, and from there we used AI to qualify those leads. And I cannot even tell you how many problems that qualification process had. How we qualified the leads were based on their channel's name. We decided that we only want to work with personal brands, so a channel that doesn't have their name inside is immediately disqualified. Now again, this is a very easy qualification system. It's nothing specific, it's nothing crazy, but it works. I made my first 10K. But a lot of people don't even think about it like this. They don't even think about lead generation and then how can I qualify them? They're like, oh, leads, let me send them or let me search them manually, which is taking a bunch of time and it's really not a good idea. And so they're rather just messing up, like they're just messing up. So this is the first thing, and you can go and replicate this. Like this is not that hard. And this is the second lead generation system we have, which will get us to 100K per month, I guarantee, is our own lead generation tool. And how it works, we use YouTube APIs to generate us YouTube channels. Then we qualify them with Cloud on like a bunch of data, their country, how many subs they have, are they human or are they like motivational theme pages and these sorts of things. We trained our AI to do that, or more like we trained a very specific prompt that will help the API make the good decisions when it comes to these leads. After we have those, we have the qualified leads. Now then, one person goes through them manually, searches their personal email, looks if they have a product, if the AI passed through a fake channel or something, which is ass. And after that, we have high quality leads who have a product and we have their personal email. And building something like this is not easy, but the reward is insane. You have your own lead generation and lead qualification system, and this all happens in one Google Sheet. And basically, we can generate millions of leads with one click, which we can qualify in less than a minute. And all it takes is just one person to get some email addresses for these people. But afterwards, think about how many opportunities I have. I have an opportunity to now bring on a VA to manually create email body copy for every single person because of how our lead generation and lead qualification system is done. So our outreach can be so personal that they are like, oh my fucking God, I just want to work with this person. But this only can be done because of how our system looks like. It's easy to generate those leads, it's easy to qualify them, and I can have just one person do that. Like, fuck. Yeah, this is something to think about for a second. And now I want to touch on our third lead generation system that I built the other day in less than 2 minutes, which is for IG. And I was thinking, how can I generate millions of leads with IG for free? And I'm like, oh, I have the answer. I go to a Avail account and I search one of their posts where there is a bunch of those leads who I'm looking for commenting on it. I take a free extension called Instant Data Scraper. I scrape all of the comments, meaning I have all of the profile links for these people. Then I go to Apify. I put their 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 leads, all of their IG links. Apify will just scrape their profile. I have their bio, I have posts, and I have a bunch of details. Then I take that into my Google Sheet where I have all of my leads. I double check whether there are duplicates inside or there are no duplicates. If there are duplicates, remove them. This is all done by a Google Apps script, of course, not by me manually. Then we have a Gemini API, look through all of these leads and qualify them on a scale of 0 to 100 on how much they are aligned with who I'm looking for. And if it's above 78, then they are a good lead. And there are a bunch of other things inside this Google Sheet which allows me to pay like literally $0 for this qualification for thousands of leads. I have 1,500 leads and I paid $0, like $0 for all of this. But it would take me like hours and hours and hours to talk about that. So that's why this video or this channel is going to be the one where, based on your guys' needs, I will create the next video. Where if you want to know how to build an IG lead generation system in less than an hour, I can go live. I can go and record a whole hour-long video doing that. But yeah, that was me. This was the video. The big problem with lead generation, the free lead generation systems we use at the moment. We have more, of course, but again, it would just take a lot of time to explain them. Whatever you want to see next, cold outreach, personal branding with cold outreach, the light systems, or whatever, from a person who is actually scaling their hybrid agency to 100K per month, just write it down. I will look at it, I will record the video, and then we repeat this process until I die, I guess.